What's up everybody? Today I'm going to be ranking the top 10 best LEGO Star Wars minifigures of all time. This is not to be mistaken for my favorite figures, as that is a completely different list and I'm trying to keep this list free of bias, but we already know how that's going to go. As always, if you end up enjoying the video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It goes a long way. Special thanks to Han Shot First for helping me out with this list. His channel is linked down below in the description, so make sure you give him a sub. You know he needs it. Anyways, with that being said, let's get to the list. Kicking it off at the number 10 spot, we have a figure that actually came out this year in 2021, and that would be Beskar Mando. I remember the community was going pretty crazy over this figure since arm printing has become something of a privilege rather than a commonality, so that metal plating on his arm is definitely something worth mentioning. Now, this figure came out in the Trouble on Tatooine set, and let's be honest, the only reason that set sold as well as it did was because of this figure, since no one gives a shit about this thing. I think it's also worth appreciating just how well the figure captures its on-screen counterpart. Accuracy is definitely an important factor that I'm taking into consideration here, and as far as I can see, the character was translated really well into its minifigure form. Coming in at number 9 is a fig that may come as a shock to many of you since it's quite low on the list, and that is P2 Rex.
But Battle Bricks, Rex is the best clone ever. He should be number 1. You're the worst YouTuber ever.
Alright, first of all, I'm a great YouTuber. I make quality content and my upload schedule is super consistent.
Stop the cap.
Also, any of you that tell me Rex is the best clone are wrong, since we all know that title goes to Fives. His death hits harder than my dad's belt. Not to mention, Rex is the most overrated figure in the Star Wars theme, no question. Not saying he's a bad fig since he was still picked amongst literally hundreds of other figures, but there is no way you can justify paying $100 for 4 pieces of plastic. Alright, moving on. Now, as much as this fig is overrated, I gotta give credit where credit is due, and the printing on the helmet and torso is stunning. Not to mention the seamless transition from Clone Wars to LEGO. But unfortunately, since 8-year-old me was too busy throwing money at this shit, I was unable to pick him up at retail, and I'm now forced to forfeit home ownership if I want to buy him. Unless God gives me a second chance to get him in a future Bad Batch set. Please. Please. Here at number 8, we have a classic figure who came out in 2011, and that is P1 Commander Wolf. Much like P2 Rex, Wolf has some great printing, especially on his helmet, which goes down to the smallest of details like the red arrow on his forehead. While we didn't see much of P1 Wolf in the Clone Wars, he is still nonetheless an impressive figure and one that will always be greatly desired by fans. Coming in at number 7, we have an awesome character and an even better fig, and that is Pre Vizsla. Once again, we have fantastic helmet, torso, and leg printing, but that shoulder cloth with the Death Watch symbol on it is easily the best part. Cape printing is not something we see done often at all, so it is definitely something to appreciate when we do see it. I loved Pre Vizsla in the Clone Wars, and once again, we have an excellent representation of the on-screen character, who unfortunately had his head sliced like a Subway cold cut combo. The number 6 spot is going to none other than Darth Malgus. This figure looks great, with the best thing about him being that mold used for his armor and respirator. Some nice torso and leg printing as well, along with the printing used for his facial scarring, which also looks great. Now, this figure is based off of his rendition in Star Wars The Old Republic, and while it does have some slight inaccuracies, I don't think it's anything to baby rage over since he's still an impressive figure. Next up, in the number 5 spot, we have Poggle the Lesser. Some people may argue that he is a B-class character, and I think that's completely valid since his on-screen appearances are few and far between, mostly being in the Clone Wars and the prequels, but despite all this, he's still an incredible figure with a really nice mold for his head. He also has his wings, which are a special material, and those have printing on the entirety of them. Now, as ugly as Poggle is, it still hurts to say that I had owned the Dual Geonosis set back in the day, but being the idiotic child I was, I tore it to bits and lost all the figures. I'm gonna need a minute. Coming in at number 4, we have a very special fig, a legend, an icon, a symbol, Daddy Mimban.
But Battle, why isn't he first? He's so hot.
Look. I know, but I promised to be as unbiased as possible, so I put him lower on the list so people don't start crying over the fact that a figure with no arm printing was somehow number 1. Staying on the topic of printing, it's done great here head to toe, and we have yet another amazing helmet, this time painted to show a mixture of mud and dirt, and it just looks great. Definitely earned his spot on this list. Alright, enough with the participation awards. We're moving on to the podium winners. In the number 3 spot, we have Ponkrell, who I would consider to be one of the biggest waste of a character situations in the entire Clone Wars show. I really wish he was featured in more episodes besides just being a throwaway leader in the Umbara arc, but nonetheless, we have a stunning mold for his head and upper torso, which is really accurate to how he looks in the show. Not to mention, the guy has 4 arms, and 4-arm minifigures are always a win. I'd also like to give LEGO credit for adding printing on the lower torso, which isn't really necessary since the mold covers most of it, but I'm definitely glad they did that. Alright, we're nearing the end with only 2 spots left. Gotta admit, it was a tough choice deciding who to put second and first, but with all things considered, second place goes to Queen Amidala. We have 2 exclusive molds used here, those being her crown, which is triple molded with the red, black, and gold colors, and then the piece used for the bottom of her dress, which is also triple molded with the red, black, and orange. Also, not to mention that under all of that Casper makeup is a literal angel. I mean, it's Padme, bro. What do you want me to do? I had no choice. Now, before we get to our number 1 pick, we've got some honorable mentions. First up is Aegon Kolar. That triple molded headpiece looks excellent, and overall, he's just a very accurate figure. The Gamorrean Guard, another great figure with a wicked mold used for his head and armor. Definitely looks better than whatever the hell this thing is. And lastly, the Rancor Battalion ARC Trooper, who should come as no surprise considering just how good the printing is on this figure from top to bottom. And then finally, at the number 1 spot, we have 2015 Boba Fett. Now, I bet you're getting tired of me talking about how good prints look on little plastic people, but I mean, come on. The printing on the helmet, the torso, the arms, the legs, the toes, it all looks fantastic. He has the cape as well, which is not as intricate as pre-Vizsla's cape, but still has the stripes in it, which looks really nice. And then, of course, the transition from the big screen to LEGO is damn near perfect. I mean, the LEGO group really knocked it out of the park with this one. With all this taken into account, I think it's safe to say that he is, at least for now, the best LEGO Star Wars minifigure of all time. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up the video. If you did enjoy, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It goes a long way. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree with these picks or not. As I said in the beginning, I was trying to remain as unbiased as possible, but nonetheless, you're all entitled to your own opinions, so feel free to yell at me down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you all later. Bye.